two verses continue into each other. He who knows that this is indestructible and eternal, uncreate and unchanging, how can such a person slay anyone or Partha or Arjuna, or cause anyone to slay? Just as a person casts off worn-out garments and puts on others that are new, even so does the embodied soul cast off worn-out bodies and take on others that are new. This verse 22 in particular is a very famous verse. When you see obituaries in Indian newspapers, if you go to India after people have died, in 6 out of 10 obituaries you see this verse. There's hardly a day, Guruji says, when there's not the single obituary in the newspapers without this verse. It's every day it's in the newspapers in India. In a very beautiful way, Shri Krishna has shown us the meaning of what death is. Shri Krishna has used, notice this, Shri Krishna has used plurals for the words in this verse. Garments, others, in this verse, to show that these things happen over and over again. So many people have cast off those worn-out bodies and taken off others that are new. So whenever Shri Krishna has used examples in the Gita, it's so nice and so precise. In the Gita, Shri Krishna hasn't used many examples or gone too much into telling stories like they do in other scriptures, but he's given very straight and meaningful answers to Arjuna's questions in his mind, to a very formulaic way. And when he's used these examples, he's used very precise examples like the one of the tortoise that we use later on, and the rent crowd that you use in chapter 6. Even this example is so precise. So the same way that a person changes in clothes, the soul changes his bodies. Imagine the way that person changing clothes. Look at it from this view. If you think about it from this view, a person doesn't have to grieve about when someone leaves the body. Earlier, we said that we're going to come back to this point in the last class. I'm going to deal with it now. When the soul leaves the body, then goes into another body, how does this happen? According to the Gita, when we only leave a body after this new body is prepared for us. Therefore, at the moment the soul is leaving this body, then this new body's already been decided. There's specific exceptions to it, which we'll describe in the next class. Is when we're going to describe what happens between death and the next birth, and it varies with people, and why we have funeral for a certain number of days in Sanatana Dharma. It's fixed. There's two major thoughts that run through the scriptures in Sanatana Dharma. The first is that the soul leaves the body and looks for a new body. There may be a time when the soul is leaving the body and looking for a new body. Gita doesn't deny this in some cases, but in most cases, when the soul's about to leave the body, that at that moment it's already decided whether that soul's going to attain liberation or whether it's going to be enter into a new body. That's already decided. In reality, only when the new body is decided does the soul leave that body. Look at it in terms of this example. When you take off new clothes, the new clothes are hopefully in front of you, right? Especially when you're in front of everyone, when you're alone, you make sure that there's clothes in front of you, yeah? You make sure, it's decided, it's your wish that you want to wear those new clothes. Only then will you take those old clothes off. In many translations and interpretations of this Gita, this part is left out. A lot of people don't commentate on it. It's discussed in very few of the commentaries, this example. You must understand, when we take off clothes and put on others that are new, then those clothes are already ready for us, washed and ironed. In some cases not ironed, in some cases not washed, but I hope not. But they're already ready. Only then do we take off those clothes. We never go to the shop after taking our clothes off and say, shop owner, which clothes should I wear? We never do that. It's already decided. They're already ready. In the same way, the karmas of our past life and this life so far determine our next body. Only then, after then, it's decided when the soul will leave that body. So in the material world, it looks as if this person has suddenly left the body, but he's left suddenly from our point of view, but from this universal system, he's not left suddenly. It's already decided which body the soul is going to go into, and when this body will be eliminated. Therefore, when we say a person has a abrupt death, or untimely death, from a metaphysical point of view, no death can be abrupt, and no death can be untimely. Everything is decided. And the soul is all-pervading. The soul knows. Yours, mine, all of our souls know everything. They know about our past lives, they know about current lives, they know about future lives. In Jainism, Mahavir was able to determine people's past lives. People used to go up to him and he'll show them their past lives. A lot of great saints can do this. As they reach that state, they discover that soul. Do this meditation, it's a springboard to the soul. Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Hatha Yoga, physical exercises, all of them. We know it. At this very moment, our souls know it. But the soul has a disguise, and the soul is hidden. And we have to be told how to discover this soul. You don't have to invent it. When we say that person is a genius, he doesn't invent it, he discovers it. There's a difference between those two words, to invent and to discover. In reality, there's no inventions in this world. They're just discoveries. It was hidden, and we found it. In the same way, this Gnan was always there, and it gets discovered. Guruji likes this book by Robert Burke. It's called Illusions, and it's written, forgive me if I'm mistakenly doing variations with the word, but more or less the meaning is this. In this world, we are all learners, and what we learn is discovering what we already knew. Teaching others is reminding them what they know as well as us, and doing is exhibiting what we know, that which we know. We are all learners, doers, and teachers. So Robert Burke has written, in this world, we're all learners, and what we learn is discovering that which we already knew. Teaching others is reminding them what they know as well as us, and exhibiting what we know. So we are all learners, doers, and teachers. Nothing is new. Nothing is original. It's the soul that decides when the next body is, and when it's going to depart from this current body. In this period between the two bodies, it's unmanifested, and we'll discuss that in the next class. Very important topic. So death is just like removing those old clothes and putting others that are new. This fact has been demonstrated in various examples. In the Mahabharata, it says that leaving a body is just like leaving a house. When your old house is getting old, it's getting dilapidated. Sritapa and I know you do a lot of property. When a house is getting dilapidated, like the one we're working on at the moment, it's a complete mess. You make up the new house, you make that new property up. When you're ready to leave that house, you know the property is there. And while living in your old house, that property is already decided, you've got that property ready, only then you leave the old house. Otherwise you'll be homeless, or you try and be a squatter. In the same way, while the soul in its current body is already making up the next body, it's already doing this. Please don't take that point in a material context, that when the body finishes, the soul just jumps into this new body. This whole plan of action, this whole process has already been decided. When the soul is in this current body, it's already decided the structure of the new body. Everything's decided. We explain the reason for this logically. If we want to decide, let's say one were to die in the evening aged 50, then for his next body, his father and his mother would have to be decided. So if his mother was 25, she was born 25 years ago, and this person, so when this person is dying in this old body, his mother's 25. So since these 25 years since his mother was born, so that's already been decided. That mother, her karmas, it decides what child she gets, and this person, when he dies, it's already determined which mother he's going to get. So in those years in his life, it's also important, not only what his mother did, but also what he did. He's already decided his mother and his father in the next birth, as well as his relatives, his possessions, career, everything. Nothing decided. Your parents are already decided, your children are already decided, your spouse who you're going to marry, it's already decided, or it's going to be decided based on your karmas. All of this is decided. So Prina and Archer were already decided. There's a match made in heaven, yeah? So that's what he said at the speech at the wedding. So all of this, so the father and mother already decided. Relatives, possessions, career, all of this is decided. All of this is decided when this person is dying, when he's about to die in his current birth. So this person that's about to die has already created that structure, and that's the meaning of this verse. So we have a lot of responsibility about how we're living our current lives and how we're going to determine our next birth. It's not a straight jump. It's already, it's a process, it's a long drawn out process. We're living at these two double levels. We're repaying our karmas and obtaining pleasures and pain because of our past karmas, but at the same time we're determining our future births, our next births. It's just like saying that we're living in this old house, or we're making up that new house. So we buy these, for the new house, we buy the furniture, we consult the architects, liaise with annoying agents, liaise with the builders, make necessary plans for that new house. So this is all done while living in that old house. In the same way, during our current life, we're already determining not only our next life, but but our future lives. Because of this, our life is a very, very big responsibility. First of all, we have a responsibility to ourselves, then we've got a responsibility towards our family, as well as our friends and relatives and next birth, because they're all going to be affected in some way or the other by how we live our lives and vice versa. Think about this when you're drinking coffee or tea at home. Think about this, how you're going to live your life. We're planning so much for the future, we don't plan for our future lives. And if you don't know about this, then you have to face consequences. If you're living in your old home and making up your new home, but you don't know about the interior designing, and you don't consult those architects, you don't consult those builders, then you go to those new houses, you're going to have problems. And you don't instruct lawyers, most important of all. So when we're doing this, we're writing, basically we have to check whether the earthing is right in the house. You have to check, if we don't check the earthing, we're going to get a shock as soon as you get into the house. Ignorance of the law is not an excuse. When we make mistakes in our lives, then remember that they're going to come, we have to face them at some time in the future. And we're going to talk about karmas, sanchit karmas, nishchay karmas, prarabdha karmas in chapter 3. So if you go down the wrong route, you make the wrong choice, and do the wrong things, you're going to say, how would we know what house we're going to get in the next life? But who's going to suffer in the future? It's going to be you that's going to suffer. Ultimately, we're going to pay that price, because we'll be living in that house and nobody else. Therefore, we must have this awareness of how we're going to live our lives, and it must be from this moment onwards. Not a single moment of unconsciousness will do. The consequences that we pay for one mistake is a very big topic we're going to discuss later. It's something that we learn from our experiences, but we want to get this gnan already, so we're going to refresh our intellects, get that inspiration for our intellects, so we don't make those mistakes. That's why the Lord is telling us that our souls changes bodies just like we change clothes. If you want to find the deeper meaning of what Sri Krishna is saying here, is that we all have a responsibility. The Lord's shown us that we are immortal, but He also shows us that we've got a responsibility in our life. When you're wearing the old clothes, the new clothes are going to be made, but you want to make sure those new clothes are made properly. If there's new clothes, you can't liberate it as well. But if you don't make sure those new clothes are proper, they're going to have wear and tear. If you don't look at them properly, you get 14 days of exchange in the real world. You never get exchange in this world. That's why people regret things in this life. The second point here is that one has to prepare for death. Death is one of my favorite topics. And you have to prepare for death, you have to prepare for the next life, and this life is an opportunity to prepare for them. We have to prepare for death. Prepare for what? Prepare for death and prepare for our next lives. We're preparing ourselves. And related to this, Kabirji has given us another famous story. Those of you who know about this. Nale dole shishuke thale bahe se nahi ana hai kalle shingar chatur abeli sajan ke ghar jana hai. Nale dole shishuka thale baha se nahi ana hai kalle shingar chatur abeli sajan ke ghar jana hai. He's saying that dying is just like going to a beloved's house. One has to prepare by bathing, by getting ready. By using the word chatur in the third line, Kabir has done something very wonderful. Only chatur means clever in a way, but not directly means clever. Only a clever person will prepare. Another person will be let's eat, drink, and be merry, with the attitude that we're in this house, so let's just enjoy ourselves. We'll worry about the new house later on. This is not clever. Who's clever? Who comes first in examinations? If those examinations are in April, and a person that starts revising in March, like I did at law school, that person's not going to come first. The person that starts right from the beginning. When the school began in September, the pupil that's studying for a few hours every single day, and that person comes first in the class, and he does not need to worry about cramming his studies in March like we did at law school. He doesn't need to worry about them. When people become awakened at the age of 60 or 70, is because they didn't prepare when they were meant to prepare. They just suddenly realized that it's time to leave their houses, and they haven't made preparations for their new house. What will they do? Where will they go? This is why they get sad. This is why they get depressed. Because those that have got their next houses ready while they're living in these current houses and have to get the clothes ready while they've got their old clothes, these people are chatur, they're clever, they're already preparing. So when the girl is going to her in-laws house after a wedding, then there's tears in her eyes, but at the same time she's happy in her heart. Because both these things are simultaneous and true. because she's got tears in her eyes. She's leaving her old family, we're leaving her body, but at the same time, she's leaving that house where she grew up, where she had all those years of love. In her heart, she's happy. She's going to live with her husband. And if you've got a husband like Archer, you're going to be happy. So he's happy he's going to be a husband. Only those boys or those girls who have lived pure lives are going to have that happiness in their hearts. Otherwise, they're going to have that fear inside me. What if they find out about me? In the same way, those that live their lives purely and beautifully are never going to be afraid at the time of death. And those who have lived their lives wrongly will always be afraid at that time of death. And the soul will not even want to leave the body. They're always dying. Their souls just don't want to leave because they're scared about what's going to happen when they get into their new bodies. The people are sitting around a dying man, and he says, don't worry, I'll be out of the hospital soon. I won't die. I'll come and fulfill your wishes. Why does he have to say all these things when he's dying? He doesn't want to leave the body. Shri Krishna takes that fear of death away, and why should we have that fear of death? That comes to the end of that class. We said this beautiful story about Shri Krishna and Arjuna, which I liked last time. I might say it again, because I really want to say this story, that people that are getting over the death of a loved one, it's a common experience we all have. Same thing happened in the Gita, where Arjuna, Abhimanyu died in the war. He was like 18 years to 20 years old. Arjuna was completely depressed in his heart after the Mahabharata war took place. He was just living in the hospital for Paris. He was so depressed, he couldn't get over the death of Abhimanyu. Shri Krishna saw that he's not going to get over this death. He needs to change his location. What Shri Krishna did? He said, let's go traveling. Let's go somewhere else. They went traveling for a while. They reached a place. It was dawn. It was twilight. The birds were singing. It was very beautiful surroundings. They sat down in the garden. Suddenly, Arjuna's gaze fell on a youth, a very handsome boy. He's about aged 18 to 20. Arjuna looked at him and thought, if Abhimanyu was alive today, he'd look exactly like this. He'd look exactly like my son. Suddenly, this boy let out a really large scream, let out a shriek. Arjuna went running towards him. But what's wrong? Picked up the boy, and the boy told him, I don't know who you are, where you come from, but I haven't got long left to live. A snake is biting me, I'm going to die. I just have one request. I've got a father who is blind, I'm his only son. I've just picked up these flowers for him. Just tell my father that his son is no more. Arjuna said, don't worry, I'm reassuring you, nothing's going to happen, you're going to be fine. At that moment, the person left his body. Arjuna thought, what are we going to do? Shri Krishna told Arjuna, get up Arjuna. Arjuna asked Shri Krishna, where? Shri Krishna tells Arjuna, we're going to go and see that boy's father and tell him that his son's left the body. Arjuna says, no way can I do this. I've already lost my son. I know exactly what it feels like to lose a son. I cannot tell this father that his son is dead. Shri Krishna said, no Arjuna, you made a promise to a dying man. You've got to go and you've got to tell him. They walked along. They asked around the town. They went through the villages. They searched everywhere. They asked, do you know this blind man who has an only son? This kid pointed out, oh yes, Yagnadutta. He's just find a house where the parrot outside the house can recite all the 4 Vedas. That's how knowledgeable Yagnadutta was. He could recite all 4 Vedas. So they searched. They found that parrot. They knocked on the door. Suddenly, a man opened the door, and he couldn't see. Shri Krishna and Arjuna were standing. He said, son, have you come back? Have you gathered the flowers? Arjuna said, no, this is the Supreme Soul, Shri Krishna, and Arjuna standing here. This whole man got so excited. Lord, you've come to see me today? Oh, this is amazing. Son, Lord, I just want to tell you, I've got an amazing son. My son is so amazing. I'm a blind man. God has given me no eyes, but he's given me the most unbelievable son. I'm so proud of this son. As soon as he said son, Arjuna said, your son, as soon as he said son, the Brahmin goes back again. He goes, Lord, you just have to meet my son. My son is amazing. There's not a single person in this town as enlightened as my son. Not a single person as knowledgeable as his son. Arjuna said, yes, your son. Said, Arjuna, my son has looked after me from such a young age. He's always been there for me. God, I would lose everything, but my son is the most amazing. He's so near and dear to me. I love his son. Arjuna, every time Arjuna said son, this Brahmin came up with something new about his son. He looked at Shri Krishna. Shri Krishna looked back at Arjuna, said, gave him the gesture, Arjuna, you've got to tell him. Arjuna put a stone in his heart's place and goes, sir, your son is no more. His son has left his body. He was bitten by a snake, and he's asked us to deliver these flowers to you. These words were lightning to the Brahmin. tears came out of his eyes. He couldn't take it. Some tears. Arjuna couldn't believe what he had just said. It was a complete shock to him. Within a few minutes, that Brahmin got up and told Sri Krishna, Lord, I told you my son is special. My son died so that I could see the Supreme Soul in front of my eyes. Not only that, he gave me flowers so I can offer them to the Supreme Lord. Lord, whatever you wish, whatever gives you pleasure will happen. Lord, whatever pleases you will happen. At that moment, Sri Krishna looked at Arjuna, told Arjuna, Arjuna, I haven't even told the Gita to him. I told the whole Gita to you, haven't told it to him. Look at his knowledge. Look at this Brahman. That's what knowledge is. That's exactly. Everyone goes through that experience of facing death of a loved one in life. It's that knowledge that it's not detachment. It's not detaching yourself from those relations, but knowing that you're the universal soul and so are they. You've got that love and compassion towards everyone, but know that they've not gone away. They're always there. They're eternal. They're primeval. They can never be slain. They're always there. They're permanent. And they will never go away. It's just like the phases of the moon. It's just like changing clothes. The body goes away, they're always there. They can never go away. Okay? You're the universal soul, you're the Brahman. Someone says that you're separate from the universal soul. Someone says the idol is not God. If God is omnipresent, omnipotent, omnipresent, omnipotent, if God is omnipresent, how can he not be in each and every molecule? How can he not be in you? How can he not be an idol? God is everywhere. He's in each and every place. Each and every person is that universal soul. We know inside an atom, you've got electrons, protons, neutrons, but 95% of the atom, physics tells us, is vibrations, energy. It's a supreme soul. Science can only go up to electrons, protons, and energy. Rishis in India have gone much deeper through this, through meditation. They knew the exact distance between the sun and the moon is 18 times the diameter of the sun. Exact distance from the earth to the moon is 18 times the diameter of the moon. That's why we have 18 chapters in the Gita. That's why we have 108 maras. That's why we have 108 thoughts. That's why we have 108,000 verses in the Mahabharata. There's deeper meanings behind everything. Our rishis knew all of this. Galileo said that the world is not flat, it's round. He got persecuted. Our rishis knew all along that this world is round. They knew into space. They knew about everything through meditation.